welcome to the next episode of the Daily J podcast. And today we've got a really interesting cat with us today. Mr. Julian from Plato, who we met in lockdown from a production side of things, and we've grown into great friends, and now the head of operations and video content and production for the Daily J. And Julian's got a really specific story and thing we want to talk about. Now, for someone who's always behind the camera, I love to bring stories to life because he's an incredible human being and a huge part of what we do and where we're going. And I wanted to show all of you this incredible human. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Julian from Plato.
I know.
Good to have you with Jules.
Good to be on.
Jules, tell us a bit about Discovr TV and what is Discovr TV before we dive into how we met, big guy.
Sure, I suppose it goes back a long time. I mean, I've been involved in the entertainment industry now since 1986. How long is that? 30 years?
Does that give you age away?
Oh, it does. Although I don't feel my age, thanks to the Daily J. You heard that right, yeah. I started getting, and then kind of really I was involved more in the music side as a singer-songwriter, and then I got into band management. I worked for Quincy Jones for a while in a thing called Q Radio. Back in the 90s, selling South African music into the US. I got involved in Balcony TV, which was where we filmed bands on 130 different balconies around the world, which was massive. Our biggest show there was Jeremy Loops, one of my favorite artists we've had locally. All while still staying involved in the music industry, I got very much more into video production, mainly because of the South African Music Awards. I've been working on the South African Music Awards for close on 24 years. We did the very first live stream in this country, backstage at the Summers in 2007, I think it was.
That's insane.
On a Nokia N91 on a platform called Quick. We had 3 people watch, and it was me backstage with the phone hanging out there, like doing this whole thing. And then to the biggest one we did with MTN on the Summers, where we did 1 million people watching the show on their mobile phones.
That is,
which was crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. So I mean, so kind of like. I've always tried to stay ahead of the curve in that kind of way. I mean, we were trying to work out between Mark and I. We were chatting the other day, a while ago, about how many live streams I've done. And I think we're sitting way over 5,000, quite easily.
That's crazy.
I mean, I just think since we started in lockdown along there, we were doing, 8 a week?
Yeah.
8 live streams a week. And I mean, every morning, even in winter, 6, some of them were 4 o'clock, weren't we? I think we were getting up at 4 a.m. to do some of those live streams, and we were doing 8 a week on average.
Yeah.
For how long? For nearly a year and a half.
A long time.
Yeah, a year and a half. And I suppose, it's kind of like, that really taught me a lot as well, because we had to discover new platforms and new ways to live stream, because everything was virtual, especially when it came to the lockdown. I mean, I remember I was also working a lot with Black Coffee during that period.
Yeah.
And he was doing a whole series of lockdown shows from his house. And I used to have to sneak to his house in like lockdown level 5, back roads via the cops, so that I could get equipment to his house, or we were trying to Uber it this way and that way and doing weird and wonderful things during lockdown just to keep content alive. And it was like kind of really interesting. And in that period, my business partner, Thabo, and so there's 4 of us in the business, myself, Dee, Thabo and Tabiso. And Thabo and I had worked together on the Summers many years, but we always said we wanted to go to another level and try and do different things. Tabo's more on the movie and film side.
Yeah.
If you don't know him, go and check out Silverton Siege, phenomenal movie that's on Netflix. Go and check that out. Tabo's on that, and Kalushi, another great one. And he's busy shooting a Netflix series at the moment as well. And we kind of just wanted to take things to another level and do things differently. And that's kind of where Discovr TV was born. And in that time, we actually had Black Coffee in our little studio, which wasn't part of this that you're seeing now. That was connected to the cottage. And this little green screen, we had painted the walls green to try and create this green screen. And I had Black Coffee in there, and I said to Mark, no, we've got to change this up. We couldn't find spaces to film or rehearse or anything like that. So it's kind of like, well, let's build our own.
Which is where we're sitting right now.
Which is where we're sitting right now. Right in the beginning of lockdown, we decided to build a studio. I mean, who does that? Your entire economy has just collapsed, and you're sitting there like going.
And when, just to interrupt you there, when everyone else was trying to smuggle booze and cigarettes and all that sort of stuff, you were smuggling Black Coffee.
Or artists into our studio. Yeah. So it was smuggling artists, or going to artists' houses to try and film and things like that. It was crazy. I mean, we were doing quite a lot of stuff with like Good Luck and stuff like that at that time as well, and a lot of different artists that we were trying to work with during lockdown. I unfortunately got also very ill during lockdown as well, where I got COVID pretty bad. And kind of like after experiencing that, I was like, you know what? It's got to take the bull by the horns, do whatever's necessary, and just keep going. And that's kind of like Discovr TV was born out of that. In the studio, we've had some of the most amazing artists from BCUC to Wonderboom, you name them, have performed in the studio. We actually just finished recording. BCUC were in here we have a show called Afro Tales, which is kind of like our version of Tiny Desk.
Yep.
And BC were doing a film session, and they loved the room so much they decided, you know what, we want to come and record our new album here. So they were busy recording somewhere else, and they came into studio and literally set up here for a week and just started recording. And then we've actually starting tomorrow with a brand new band that we've also started a record label. Why don't we just do something else? Start a record label, why not? Called Discovr Music Entertainment. And our one band called the Cooligans, who are just the coolest young cats, are starting recording their album in here tomorrow. We're just finishing a new project with a band called The Shameless, Soweto's finest punk rock band that you could ever come across. And we just love working with new talent. Yeah. And I think, that for me has always been my passion. And kind of like, and then obviously Daily J started, and we were like, I'm in. Jono, I'm in. There's just like, no ways, I have to be part of this. And I think, music, exercise, all of these kind of things are so important in lifting up the spirit for anybody. I unfortunately, I can't exercise like most people. I've got asthmatic problems, I've got a bad back, both my knees are pretty much shot. So I kind of like do what I can. Daniela's helping me now. She's obviously doing Pilates, so that's my new thing. Pilates, trying that. We'll try anything, but it's all about, you've just got to keep doing and just try and keep lifting up, because we're going through some bad times as a country and just generally in everything. But you just keep being positive and try and stay ahead of the curve, for want of a better word.
I'll never forget when on the old platform called Jeff, and we got in touch with you, and we got to know each other, and we got to know each other backstage, and a lot of people would know that we used to...
I think it was a year before I met you, actually.
A year.
I spent more time
backstage. And Julian got to know our family really well.
And we knew the timings. We knew exactly when we were going on in the morning. Is this... Which one we got? Okay. I would wait. Okay.
The fights, the shouting, Julian really came into the back of our home and understood what the toll it took on us, I think. The responsibility and how we had to pull things together, and it was we formed quite a special bond. So when we met in person, it was amazing. And then getting to know Mark and Dee and everyone behind the scenes and the production team have just been amazing. And I think we really put on some amazing productions. I mean,
listen, one landed me in hospital. Let's be honest. Mark and I were down in Cape Town for the first 24 hour.
Well, I said that to Julian.
Was it 24 or 26?
25. I said to Julian, I said, we're going to do a 25-hour exercise production. And I think he almost fell off his chair. He's like, what? And I was like...
I lasted till 3 a.m., I think, and then I had to literally be put in an oxygen machine.
That's right.
I collapsed. So Mark had to carry on with the rest of it. And then Mark did the 26-hour one. I just couldn't manage. Did he went with you? I think
Dylan was there.
Yeah, Dylan was there.
But what we did is we set quite a few records of production and doing different stuff and testing, and there was a bit of broadcast history that went on with those things. But most importantly, I think it was something completely different, And
absolutely. And that's why I love this, because we're always pushing the boundary and trying different things.
Totally, and that's when we started the Daily J. The first person I phoned was Julian. I said, Jules, we're doing it again, but it's going to be slightly different, and we just need a bit of help, and we just need to pull this in together. And knowing the person that you are, you just put your hand up and you went, I'm in. Let's do this. We'll figure it out. We're going to rock this thing. We're going to build it, and we're going to just find a way of doing it. And that's what we've done 5 months in now. And now we're sitting here in our podcast, talking about it and bringing it to life. And I think it's so important that people meet you, because first of all, you're a part of South African music history. Music is a massive part of what we do. If you see in our last productions that we put on, we got all our friends involved. Your Just Gingers, Prime Circles, Goldfish, everyone. We started with productions with Good Luck, and all these people have just become really good friends, and part of it But that was all trial and error as well. I mean, it was putting that stuff together was just like, was incredible. But there was a massive link between exercise and music and production and what it looked like, and then ultimately helping people in the background, you know.
I also think that COVID taught us so much in terms of content-wise and just people and everything like that over the time, that you're now starting to see all these big platforms trying to hop on the bandwagon. And I've seen it with Nike have launched this one. This one launched it, not Nike, I mean Netflix launched that one with Nike in terms of theirs. And I've watched them all, but I keep saying it, they're all missing one fundamental point. And this is why I've always been I've loved doing what you do, is that it's the personal touch. You can't replicate that.
No.
It's not something you can just put two people in front of a camera and think it's just going to be there. And you know, and you talked about you and Jules and when we would lock on in the morning, but that's what people loved.
Yeah.
It was real.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, that was what always made Jeff and now the Daily J work. Is it's you and Jules. Without you two, there is nothing. And I don't care what anybody says, but it's absolutely true, because it's what people relate to. And sometimes Dee and I sit there and watch it. John knows on the sales pitch again, and there he goes. But you know, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that people watch it and people get involved, and there's so many great stories. And I mean, you had the lady now in terms of Kerry that you were chatting to on the first episode of this, and we were watching that, and it's an incredible story, and there's so many more of those.
Yeah.
And that for me is probably the most important thing about the Daily J. It's not the exercise.
No.
The exercise is something that just helps lift you, because I think we all need that. You've got to get those endorphins going and all of that, because otherwise we'll become slouches. And I mean, you look at technology now. I don't know if you recently saw that the Apple launched this new Vision Pro.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I go, that's Ready Player One, that movie that was Steven Spielberg movie. And in 10 years from now, kids are just going to be sitting with these things on their heads or some kind of version of it, and are they going to exercise?
Yeah.
Because they're just going to get lost in these worlds. So I think it's so important but it's the human touch, and that you're touching people through a lens, which not many people can do. And I think it's that community, which is so vital to what this is about. And that's what makes this work. It's nothing else, not the exercise. Anybody can exercise.
Yeah.
You can watch 1,000,001 exercise. I mean, flip it, just switch on YouTube and go, give me a 30-minute workout. They're free.
Yeah.
But do you identify with any of these people? Do you remember any of these people?
Yeah.
No. That's the difference.
And I think it's, you know, it's a love for doing it and bringing it to life. It's much along the love that you have for music. I mean, you're a muso, like flat out.
Yeah.
You're a muso. You love it, and you live it, you breathe it forever. You know what I mean? My wife is a muso, you know, on a different way. Good friends, Art Matthews, complete muso. Just live in a different world.
I've known Art since he started.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw him the first time in a band called Cat's Chambers.
Yeah.
At the waterfront, which has been 25 years, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
We've got to get him on the podcast too.
Yeah, you have to. He's got amazing stories, and I've seen some of them. So yeah.
But just another story on that. In that 25-hour production, Julian says to me, and he goes, "Where's Art gonna play?" I said, "On a bike, on his boat, in the waterfront." And he was like, "What?"
And he did.
And
he did.
And we
100%.
did. And we brought that to life. It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
But I think there's something.
Still, you got to do the big one. You know what the big one is?
What's the big one?
The stadium, Cape Town Stadium.
Cape Town Stadium. We're going to sell out the
Still
stadium.
the big one.
We got to do that one. We will do that. And we must speak to Mr. Mayor, Mr. Gillen Lewis from Cape Town, and we can sort that out. But you know what? Anything's possible. We said we're going to do these things, and we just throw the energy to it, and we make it happen, man. But
Absolutely.
it's, you know, like. But one thing I take out of you is your love and your passion for this production piece, you know, and bringing it to life. And I don't think people behind the scenes really understand how much work and time and effort that goes into doing something like the Daily J, you know?
You know, and it's not just that. I mean, you just take this set we're on today. This is not just Mark sitting on audio or whatever. There's people like DNA and Lebs and Spare and everybody. These guys take meticulous work in making sure that the lighting's correct, that this is positioned that way. The set is done. We've got the props up. There's so much more to production than just picking up your phone and shooting something.
Totally.
At the end of the day. And that's what I love. And I mean, I've got a great team around me. I'm very, very lucky. in terms of the team that we have at Discovr TV that all give their worth, that they'll sit here till 10 o'clock at night doing an edit if that's what it takes to get the show out on time. And that is vitally important. And it's exactly that same effort that you put into what people see every morning on Facebook, in the group, on their WhatsApp groups, in terms of the effort that you and Jules go through and Liz and Adrian and everybody that go through to make the content. And I don't think people realize how much effort goes into that as well.
That's tough.
Yeah.
The other aspect of Discovr TV, Jules, you do a lot of corporate stuff, man.
Yeah,
talk about that, because
streaming, a lot of corporate videos type stuff. We've got as I mentioned, we've got a great production team and we've got great storytellers within our production team, guys that write great scripts, and we help brands to basically come to life. That's really what we do. My passion is music, as you said, so I do a lot of music content. We for example, we partner with Baseline Festival, where we shoot a lot of festival type content with Baseline, and various others. We've done Corona Fest, we've done, I'm trying to think of Kunye, which is a massive one with Shimza that he does every month. We film those. From Defected in the UK to Sondela, some incredible stuff that we've shot over the years, as well as working with great brands like Corona and Jägermeister and Rockets, where we do a lot of content with them as well. We're currently doing a great DJ search with Rockets, where every Wednesday we're shooting young DJs.
Awesome.
And we film them, and these guys are all going to be given a chance. I don't know if you've seen the new Rockets in Durban.
I've heard about it.
Go to Durban, guys. Go and check out Rockets in Umhlanga.
Durbanites?
Yeah, go and check it out. It's a phenomenal experience, and these kids are going to land up having a chance to have a residency. Again, upliftment. It's all about upliftment, and that's 100%. What we try and do as well.
And I think that's why we get on so well, because it's that same DNA, and upliftment it is, various, be it exercise, music, bringing it all together, and just like making people feel better.
Absolutely.
Julian he's a mess. He even did a set on the 25-hour workout.
We did.
He was so ill, and he said, "I'm doing the set."
And I collapsed after that.
And he collapsed after it. But he did it, and that energy rides through, and I appreciate you so much as a human being, number one.
I'm just going to get fit, Jono. I'm trying.
I'm trying to help you as well.
I know.
But
I'm also lazy.
Don't
be lazy like me.
I appreciate you as a human being. I appreciate you for your skill that you bring it. I appreciate you for what you do for young people, young stars, people trying to find their way in the industry, which is huge. And most importantly, what you do for our community, because our community benefit from your hard work and what you put in behind the scenes.
I think just before that, the biggest person that we have to give a shout out, because it's not me who's behind that computer every day. That's filming you. It's Daniela. Dee is there at every single session, making sure you and Jules are there, and she's the one pushing record and getting everything done. A lot more than I am. So a big shout out has to go to Dee.
And Dee's not here because she's actually at gym, like a good student. And tell us a little quick story about Dee, which is quite funny. You always see the prompts coming up of do your backward lunges, do this, do that, and the screen's coming up and this and that. But she's actually exercising.
While she's doing the recording.
While she's doing it at the same time.
Standing at a desk, doing the exercises.
And it's quite amazing to think, like the behind the scenes that goes on.
She's studying Pilates now. That's how much the whole Daily J has affected her and also given her inspiration,
Incredible,
it's so
man.
important.
Incredible.
And I just cannot reiterate it enough. This platform gives hope to so many people.
Yeah.
So many people that find themselves in difficult places, that not sure where to go and what to do. Just take a chance. There's a lot of freemium type content that we're putting out there as well that gives people an opportunity to see what this is about. And then, it's not a gym. I'm not a gym person. Every time I sign up to a gym contract, these come, let's go. We're going to take you to gym. I'm like, cool. Okay, cool. I'm in. I last about a month, and that's it. You never see me at the gym again. It's not a personal experience for me, and I just don't like all those people. It's just hectic. I'd rather sit at home and do something or something like that. So it's a great space for people as well, and it's a great space for you to connect, because it is a community, and there's so many other people that are needing help and needing just that little bit of upliftment.
Totally.
And we each give each other that.
The future of Discovr TV and Daily J. So
this studio you see here, we're going to do this in Cape Town. That's our plan.
We're building a studio like this in Cape Town.
I need to get to the sea so that next year, hopefully, Dee and I will be down at the coast. But yeah, just keep growing. I really want to bring more music into it in the long term.
Yeah.
So we've got so many great artists. As I said, we shoot this kind of version of our own called Afro Tales, which is kind of our own version of Tiny Desk. We give artists a nice platform. Eventually, we'll start incorporating that kind of content and showing. So, after a long workout, check out some great music. We work with all these great young DJs. So we want to get DJs actually, where at the moment we provide music for that we get off online that we buy and stuff like that. But I want DJs to contribute towards those soundtracks of what the Daily J is. And then at the end it says, if you like this DJ, click here and go and follow them,
Click them here, buy their music or whatever it may be.
So many opportunities.
Everyone must benefit. That's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in that.
Absolutely. And I think, and we want to get to that big concert at the Cape Town Stadium where we got 30,000 people working out together.
That is our goal.
That's our goal.
We spoke about that. We want to have Cape Town Stadium and
Concerts.
30,000 people working, exercising, and music afterwards.
No, watch a band.
Watch a band.
Then you've got a half an hour break between bands.
Yes.
In that half an hour break
Yes.
is a workout.
Okay.
Then you watch another band.
Oh, awesome.
And then you work out.
And then you
you watch another band.
And then you can have a couple of beers afterwards.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But, I love the whole concept because it really is. I mean, I want to see 30,000 people working out together.
Me too.
And let's have the Killers. Come do it, because that will be the perfect band to push it.
100%.
Alongside Just Ginger and all our great other South African bands. We don't only want, obviously, international, but
Totally.
you always want a nice big puller.
No, 100%. And like that is for me what I'm so humbled by is all these artists who come on board. I mean, like, we've had incredible artists. Goldfish.
So many artists that contributed their time and effort. I remember those times with Goldfish. I mean, those were incredible moments.
It's like, it's a phone call. Jono, no problem. Art, no problem. Prime Circle, no problem.
And that always
Josie,
so
no
willing
problem.
to.
And just help. And that's just I think
love that.
that is the music industry. I think.
Would you do one in a wine form as well?
Yes, we must. And I also want to do one with Good Luck too.
Yes.
So I need to speak to Jules about that. So she'll be keen.
Yeah. Her and Ben will be keen.
So studio in Johannesburg, one in Cape Town. Jules.
And eventually we're going to take this to the rest of Africa, because I think this is just the beginning, John.
No, 100%.
I mean, there's so much happening in the rest of Africa right now, in places like
especially
Zambia,
music-wise.
and also people getting fit and people wanting to make a difference.
Yeah.
Community is so key to everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Really is. And man, I mean, I'm not the greatest fitness freak, and but I try and look after myself. But it's like, it is such a great uplifter. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
No, well, that's the whole thing about it. You make other people feel better, and that you have a tool for that. And exercise and music are the things together. And now we bring in
food.
And food. And the
Food's
whole
so important.
100%.
Your diet is 90% of it, isn't it, these days? Not 90, but
Yeah, but it is. But the point is here, we are bold. We are both sitting here from a production and design perspective, saying no one can provide engagement like we can.
No.
No one can bring a product to life like we can.
No.
So just get on board, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Jules, to close off, for corporate South Africa that are watching now, and everyone that's going, you guys, your production's amazing, how can they get in touch with
Just
you?
check out discovertv.co.za. Disco VR. I know it sounds weird, but it's Discover without the E. Discovertv.co.za. You can find out all about who we are. And check out our content. It's fun, man. We also do a lot of cool, really fun stuff. And a lot of original. We shoot our own short films. We're busy going into pre-production on a new short film. We've just finished shooting one. Some really cool stuff that's happening.
Amazing. And for everyone at home, guys, that's behind the scenes of what happens at the Daily J. It is not just press play and go. There's a lot that goes into it. With
The
lighting.
next time you watch it, give a shout out to Dee, because she's the one pushing record.
100%. And we'll have the magnificent D on the show as well one day. But a lot goes into it. And the reason is to stimulate everyone and just make them feel like they are part of something that is going to change their lives. And that is what Julian has done for us. He's become family. And he'll continue to do, and we're going to grow this thing out. So get on board, come and join the Daily J, see what we're doing. Do it.
Just do it.
And check out Discover TV and what they're doing. If you need them from a production perspective, corporate
Live streaming,
perspective,
that's what we do.
anything, these are your guys. We share everything. So come on board and just see what we're doing. We'll see you in the next one. We've got some really interesting guests coming up, and we're going to have some life-changing stories. And I hope you enjoy. All the best. Have a good day. Cheerio. And toodaloo.
Bye, everybody.